How would you like to get my best bet today and the plays of every single handicapper at picknation.com for free, no strings attached? Guys, I'm not kidding around. Al DeMarco here, general manager of the world's largest online sports gambling community, picknation.com. And today, you can get my best bet and the plays of every single handicapper at the site for free simply by using the one-day free all-access pass at picknation.com. That's right, my best bet, the plays of 10 handicappers for free. If you were to buy them separately, guys, you would spend over $600, but you're going to get them for free, the one-day free all-access pass at picknation.com. Now, you're asking yourself, why am I giving it away for free? Because, guys, I'm that confident that I put together a staff of the best handicappers in the nation that can win for you on a consistent basis. What better way to show you how good they are than by giving you their plays today for free? Once again, the free one-day all-access pass available now. All you've got to do is click on the ad at picknation.com. Welcome back, everyone, to part two of this edition of the Countdown to Kickoff program. Al DeMarco along with Steve Budin as we continue to motor on through the top games on your Sunday card and breaking down the games from a point spread perspective. You got the Dallas Cowboys, Steve, who certainly gave Baltimore all the Ravens could handle last week on the road, but this is a Dallas team that finds itself in a must-win situation. Because remember, last week they were coming off the bye. Prior to that, they were destroyed at home on national TV in the Monday night game by the Chicago Bears. Offensively, they were dynamite against Baltimore last week. 481 total yards, 227 yards rushing, 30 first downs. They had the ball 20 more minutes in Baltimore, but the defense couldn't do anything. This week, they're playing without DeMarco Murray, who's probably going to miss the game because he's hurt, but they do have a bevy of talented running backs. Felix Jones can certainly carry the load. The question is, how did this team, you look at this, they only gave up 316 yards last week to Baltimore. So you look at special teams, you look at penalties, and you go, here's a Carolina team coming off a bye. What happened the last time the Panthers played? Cam Newton just looked like a high school sophomore rather than in his sophomore season in the NFL.
Well, I said it last week. If you bet the Dallas Cowboys on or against them at this stage, you got to be crazy. But for the purposes of this show, let's break down the game. Fine, Dallas did play a good game last week, didn't get the win, did get the cover. I liked them last week. But again, the way they zigzagged through a season, very hard to get a handle on them. Cam Newton, I don't know where he is. We should do a VH1 show. Where is Cam Newton now? Because the guy playing quarterback, he could get arrested for impersonating Cam Newton, but 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's not the Cam Newton we learned to love last year, but they got bigger problems. Carolina can't get pressure on the quarterback no matter what they do, and Tony Romo is a very different quarterback when he can sit in the pocket with plenty of time and pick you apart. You got to make Tony Romo run for his life. That's when he makes mistakes. Carolina is not going to be able to do it. I hate to say this. I'm going with Dallas. Just one more time.
Yeah. Hey, and listen, what Steve said earlier is true. I mean, this is a Dallas team that, despite getting the cover of Baltimore last week, is 7-16-1 against the spread in its last 24 games overall, and 4-17-1 in its last 22 as a favorite. And, of course, they're laying a couple points here. I'm with you, though. I got to go with Dallas. Cam Newton's regressed 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions this season. And Carolina's 2-5 against the spread in its last 7 at home. So I like Dallas. I even like the over a little bit in here because I don't think either team is that good defensively. Next game, I think this is a game, the Giants and Washington, where a lot of guys are going to look at this and say, oh, the Giants are going to be in for a letdown because they're coming off the game, the big upset win at San Francisco. They're going to be letting down today. This is an NFC East showdown. This is a Giants team in triple revenge. They know who the hell's coming to town. And when you got RG3 as your quarterback, all the more they know who's coming to town. And I think this Giants team will be primed to take care of Washington.
Right, and gamblers aren't just looking at a letdown scenario, which makes sense after the emotional win. They're also looking at it as a potential look ahead because they got Dallas on deck. This is a revenge game from week 1 where Dallas came into New York, actually New Jersey, and beat the Giants. But like you said, the reason why the Giants are going to be up for this game is because their MVP is actually their coach, Tom Coughlin. Doesn't make a lot of noise, doesn't scream and yell like the other coach in New York, but he consistently gets his team ready for big games. I also think the Giants got their bad games out of the way in the beginning of the season, also their bad halves out of the way. You know, this is a game of momentum. I think the wind is at their back. I like Big Blue here.
I'll tell you, the one thing that does concern me, however, and I'm with you on the Giants as well, is the fact that this team has not played a good first half at home all season. Remember what happened to Dallas. Remember what happened against Tampa. Remember what happened against Cleveland. I mean, against the Browns 2 weeks ago. They were down 14-0 before you could even blink. Oh, true.
They scored about 150 points after that.
They did score 41 of the next 48 points, but still, they've got to tighten up defensively, and I think there's some hope there because I look at last week's game against San Francisco where they dominated the 49ers, came up with 6 sacks, had 3 interceptions. They had a San Francisco team that just 314 yards a week after they had over 600, 300 on the ground, 300 through the air against Buffalo. Giants typically go into this like October, November swoon. They peak early, peak late, so I'm a little worried there, but I just don't believe in these Redskins. So I'm with you. I got to go with the Giants.
Yeah, I give the Redskins their due also. They beat the Giants twice last year in the regular season. Now they've added RG3. Giants have lost their running back. They lost Manningham. So there's a play here on the Redskins if you're a believer. I'm just not a believer in the Redskins at all.
And I'll tell you what, with Ahmad Bradshaw having 2 back-to-back fabulous games, even though that foot is still bothering him from last year, 200 yards career high a couple weeks ago, and then 116 last week against a very good Niners defense. Eli Manning didn't have to be spectacular last week. He can be spectacular against this Washington defense, which is nothing special. Next game, New Orleans and Tampa Bay. You know, Greg Schiano may come off like a high school punk in terms of his coaching style. You know what I'm talking about. But the fact is he has his team playing good, considering this is a team that lost 10 of its final 11 games last year. This team is good. But then again, they're coming off a win against Kansas City, one of the worst teams in the NFL. So beating the Chiefs 38-10, big deal. The highlight to me in that contest is the defense held Jamal Charles, who was, I think, the NFL's leading rusher coming into that game, to just 40 yards on 12 carries. They outgained Kansas City 463 to 260, but now they got Drew Brees coming in. But the Saints, we saw them 2 Sunday nights ago. They came back in the fourth quarter and covered against San Diego. But seriously, have they played defense at all this season?
No, the biggest difference between these two teams, Al, is swagger. New Orleans has lost their swagger completely on defense, while you mentioned correctly Tampa Bay taking on the bravado of their coach, coming every single week with that in-your-face style of play. A lot of people, Al, they're going to have a hard time betting against Drew Brees in this game because to them, this is still the same New Orleans Saints from 2 years ago. But I got news for you. It's not. Let's go with Tampa Bay here at home.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I actually have no opinion on this game. I don't know how this one's going to play out. I don't like the total. I don't like the side. There are some games that just scream, bet me, bet me, bet me. There's other games that you don't want to watch if that's the only game that's available on your TV. This is one of them as far as I'm concerned. Let's go to a better, well, maybe not necessarily a better game, but a more interesting game to dissect. Let's talk about that other coach from New York who finally, after beating somebody last week, coming out and hammering the Indianapolis Colts, he stood up at the podium, Rex Ryan we're talking about, and said, they're coming for the Patriots, they're ready, and they can beat the Patriots. Hallucinations must be running rampant in the NFL in post-game press conferences.
Yeah, Rex Ryan lost all that weight, and I said it first week, and I've continued to say it. He's obviously a crackhead. He continues to prove me right. He gets up on the podium and says, I really feel we're going to beat New England. Okay, listen, let's just simplify this for 1 second. Giselle or Ava? No contest whatsoever, and the only thing that Brady likes doing as much as coming home to Giselle is kicking the crap out of the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets, without Darrelle Revis, have no chance whatsoever to keep up with Tom Brady, but I got news for you guys. Even if they had Darrelle Revis, they got no chance of keeping up with Tom Brady. Now, we're talking about defense for a second. Let me just say something. Bill Belichick, you've had 4.5 years to put together a defense, and you're supposed to be the defensive guru. Please, all you do is you rely on Tom Brady's arm to outscore the opponents. It's actually a good strategy this week. It's going to work, but I like the over in this game. I'm going over because neither of these teams can play defense.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom Brady, when Darrelle Revis was healthy and playing for the Jets, it didn't matter because the last 3 games against the Jets with Revis in the lineup, Brady completed 70% of his passes, averaged 326 yards a game, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. They're going to move the ball up and down. I am am not concerned a bit that they collapsed in the fourth quarter at Seattle last week, because the one thing about Belichick's teams, they are resilient. The Patriots are 23-7 against the spread after their last 30 straight-up losses. 23-7. That is money we can take to any bank we want here in Vegas. And I agree with you. I can see the over, but I'll tell you what, if you're going to bet one big favorite on the board, make it the Patriots, because there is no love lost between these two franchises. There is no love lost between these two coaches. And you know Tom Brady coming off a loss is just like a guy that you want to have on your side when you're playing poker. I mean, I think he's just going to be able to shred this New York defense to pieces. And as you've said repeatedly on the show, the Jets are built for mediocrity. They are designed to beat bad teams. So even though Sean Green had a career high last week, well, okay, they were playing the Colts, just like they looked great against the Bills in week 1. In between, they've been pathetic.
Every time that they go up against an elite quarterback, they just can't compete. They've got two mediocre quarterbacks, and you put them together, and they don't even equal an elite quarterback. Jets have no shot.
Hey, listen, guys, we want to talk again about fantasy football here over at picknation.com. We've got a contest this week. Really unique twist. $500 total prize money, top 20 finish in the money. First prize is $125, but it's limited entry. Only 250 can enter. Costs $2 to enter, but tell them what the twist is.
Right, so the twist is all you have to really do to make money in this contest is beat me. Now, I've averaged about 170th. So if you can't beat me, maybe you should try some other thing, because fantasy football is not for you. So you beat me, you win $5. You win the contest, you win $150. Plus the $5 for beating me is $155. It's not a bad deal.
Actually, $125 if you win the contest,
sorry.
$130. Just make it clear. But the top 20 finish in the money. When you enter the contest, you'll see the payout schedule, guys, as well. And again, it's limited entry. Only 250 can get in and on it, so don't miss your opportunity. Final game here, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, two teams coming off road losses. Steelers, of course, 2 Thursdays ago lost to Tennessee. Cincinnati losing at Cleveland last week. They moved the ball efficiently. Andy Dalton, though, again, interception prone. 3 picks in that game against the Browns. This Steelers team, they simply cannot perform on the road. They have gone 2-11 against the spread in their last 13 on the road. 0-3 this year on the road. But I just can't back Cincinnati.
No, I mean, both of these teams are playing bad. Both of these teams not living up to their own expectations or the expectations of the gamblers all across the country. But all of that being said, and everything being equal, I say this all the time, football is a game of quarterbacks. And there is no way you can tell me that Ben Roethlisberger is only 2.5 points better than Andy Dalton. Look, at the end of the day, this line should be 5, 5.5. I don't know that it would be the right line, but that should be the line. 5, 5.5. I think you're getting a value here, laying under 3 with Pittsburgh. That's what you should do.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the Steelers as well. And listen, the Steelers are just like the Patriots, resilient, 9-1 against the spread after their last 10 straight-up losses. That's money in the bank as well. Listen, before we go, guys, again, a reminder, you can get my best bet today, the latest 50-dime release from Steve's Baltimore crew, all the action from all the handicappers at picknation.com, simply by checking out the free one-day all-access pass at the site picknation.com.
This is the greatest thing we have, and we're the only ones that do it. And like I said earlier in the show, there's a reason why we're the only ones that do it. Every other company, all they want to do is take your money and not worrying about delivering. At the end of the day, we know that what we want to do is show you exactly how good we are before we take your money. Then once you're comfortable, then you come in and do what you got to do.
Guys, you're going to get all the plays of all the handicappers, over $600 of action for free at picknation.com. So check it out, the one-day free all-access pass. And when we say free, we actually mean free, and I know that's a concept that a lot of people in this business can't really get their grasp on, but we truly have nothing to hide. Check it out, one-day all-access pass, free, all of the plays today at picknation.com. Well, Steve, that'll do it for another edition of this Countdown to Kickoff show as we continue to motor through the NFL season. For Steve Budin, I am Al DeMarco. Remember, catch my daily video reports every day at picknation.com.